What's up, guys? Good morning. It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So first of all, today's going to be a quick video on Atkins induction food list, aka what works for keto, what works for low carbohydrate regimens, as far as like when you're trying to cut out the sugar, cut out the carbohydrates, reduce to a very, very minimal amount. Now, as you may know, we have a group on Facebook called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. If you would like to come join us, please feel free to do so. A lot of people have been asking me, well, which one is it? Because there's two. Apparently, I created two on accident and I screwed it up. It's the top one with like 4,000 members. Drink your damn water. If you are looking for Atkins induction meal plans or nutrition guidance or a personal trainer, I'm your guy. Shoot me a message on Facebook or go to the group and hit me up that way. Also, an email at thrifttime@gmail.com. THRIFTTIME@gmail.com. So, first of all, if you're on Atkins induction and you're just starting, you want to keep your foundation vegetables about 12 to 15, and then total carbs are going to be about 18 to 20, 22 max. And that can be really confusing. So if you need help with meal plans, I customize them to what works for you, not everybody else, because everybody's body's the same. I have ongoing nutritional guidance and all kinds of different programs available. So message me. The first and most important thing that I can say is make sure you are varying your meal plan, or make sure that you are taking a multivitamin or something like that, because in the beginning, I like to personally follow, something just jumped in my mouth, a meal plan for as long as I possibly can. But doing that lacks selection, lacks varied minerals and micronutrients and stuff like that. So it's really important that you're at least supplementing that with some type of multivitamin or something like that. Obviously, keep an eye on those for hidden carbs and hidden sugars. Do not be eating gummy vitamins, because that should be obvious, but they taste good because they are usually packed full of sugar or have a couple carbs in them. Now, first of all, fish. You could do flounder, salmon, sardines, tuna, trout, cod, halibut. Most of them are pretty low in carbohydrates. There's a couple that I've seen, like you can do shrimp, you can do all kinds of stuff. So keep it kind of open with that. As far as like, you could do chicken, turkey, ostrich, quail. I don't know who the hell eat quails, or if there's even like enough food on it. You have to make sure when you're looking these up, not all of these are necessarily zero carb. You always have to, but I'm just saying they're Atkins friendly in the first phases. You can do mussel, squid, lobster, clams, and remember, when you're eating out, it's really important that you understand what's being put on these foods, because the butter, the seasonings, it could be added sugar. You have no idea, so keep that in mind. Meats, you could do bacon, beef, ham, hamburger meat. Be careful with deli meat, because a lot of the times you're going to see that deli meat, they inject all kinds of weird stuff. Just ask the individual at the deli if you could flip it over and read the package, because, like, for instance, yesterday I had a turkey pastrami. It was 1 carb per 2 ounces. So if I was going to get 6 ounces, that'd be 3 carbs. You got to make sure that's a real deal. And I've seen them as high as like 9 carbs per serving. So you don't want to be like 27 carbs deep on accident. So just keep an eye on that. Eggs. Care which way you want to make them. They might slightly change, but for the most part, it's going to be perfectly fine. Oils. This is a big one. My go-to, I usually have 3. I'm not balling out of control, but if I was right now, it would be avocado, because are you done, Jonathan? Can you get through your freaking word? Avocado oil would be my favorite. specifically because it has a very high smoke point and it doesn't turn into what's the word I want to use? Not carcinogens. It doesn't turn rancid at high levels of cooking. So you could pretty much use it on any levels of cooking. I also like extra virgin olive oil for cooking, coconut oil, and the other one, I think that's about it. That's all I would use. But you can use canola, soy nut, soybean, grapeseed, sesame, sunflower, safflower, and it just kind of depends on what you want. You can also use butter. You can use like mayonnaise. You can use, I would stay away from like Miracle Whip or something like that. Um, Sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, you want to limit this. And the reason I say that is because eating too many artificial sweeteners usually tends to cause you to kick out of ketosis. If you don't know what that is, check out in the links in the description below. And people are always saying, this is not the most efficient way to check if you're in ketosis. No crap. I know that. But they're a good way in the beginning to get a general understanding. These are keto sticks, ketosis sticks. They test the ketone levels, aka the amount of fat that you're burning inside your body would be the easiest way to understand it through urine. You could do a blood meter and stuff like that if you've been on for a while, but generally speaking, if you know you're on, by the time you're doing a blood meter, like you should know what the hell you're doing as far as creating your meal plan, and you probably won't need these anymore. And if anything, these are just fun to mess with. Okay, so, and recently I found out as high as 50 carbs, I apparently stay in ketosis, which is new to me because I never thought that happened. You can do things like, and now these are things that you can do. These are not necessarily things I recommend, okay? You could do things like diet soda. You could do things like zero or low carb energy drinks like Bang and stuff like that. Sometimes, and don't do too many a day or whatever. You can do things like Coke Zero. You could do Glacier Ice drinks. You could do Bai drinks, BAI drinks. You could do like flavored water. You could do the Croaks. Um, you could do tea. Be careful eating or drinking too. You could do coffee. You could do heavy whipping cream. This, I still am able to stay in ketosis. Sugar-free coffee creamer. What else? Just be careful with too much caffeine because apparently, more than like 2, 3 cups of coffee is going to trigger, blood sugar spikes or blood pressure spikes or anything like that. And it's going to trigger cravings because you're going to dip down. So you're getting really high up, dip down, you want to come back up. A lot of the times we shoot to high carbohydrate foods to be able to get our energy levels back up. And of course, all right, the most important one out there, water. People are going to tell you a lot of different things, so drink your damn water. That's going to be my advice to you. I would say pretty much anybody out there, shoot for a gallon. And there's different things out there. It's like 6, 7 bottles of water. It just depends on what works for you. Next, I want to say cheeses. Now we're getting into stuff that does have carbohydrate content, so you need to make sure you're paying attention. Pretty much any type of cheese, okay? Now, you need to remember that cheese is extremely high in calories, 9 calories per gram. As far as like the macronutrients, it's definitely the highest. I think alcohol is 7 calories per gram, or something like that. Alcohol is actually the 4th macronutrient that nobody ever talks about because most trainers will not put that in your meal plan. I wouldn't. But you could do things like Parmesan, cheddar cheese, feta cheese, pretty much any kind of cheese, mozzarella cheese and stuff like that. Little tip, when you are low carb, you are not going low fat. So be very careful about that because your body is going to have one preferred fuel source or the other. If you don't have carbs, you need to have fat. So don't be thinking it's very burned into our brain, low fat, low fat, low fat. But if you're going around the store and you're low carb and you're shopping and you're going low fat with everything, you're going to end up like with zero energy and potentially in a bad situation because you don't have any fuel inside your body. It's kind of like if a car runs off of diesel or propane or natural gas and then you take them both out, if it's not going to go, it's going to die out. So make sure you are specific about that. But I will say there are some cheeses that have like blueberries, strawberries, wine, chocolate. I've seen all kinds of stuff around the world. So if you're trying anything like exotic, pay attention to the or the ingredients and the carbohydrate contents. Now this is the vegetable list. We're going into things, and I'm not going to tell you net carbs or anything like that because they're going to go all over the place as far as like amounts and stuff like that. And I do have this written down because obviously there's no way that I would be able to go through. Okay, so olives. I've gotten away with both black and green. I've never had an issue with the pimentos or anything like that. I don't really prefer, I don't know, olives are great, but anyway. Watercress. Chicory greens, alfalfa, arugula tastes like, it's disgusting. I do not like it at all. Bok choy, spinach, radishes, lettuce, pretty much any type of lettuce that you can find. Mustard lettuce is disgusting, by the way. Artichoke, button mushrooms, celery, collard greens, pickles, pretty much a crowd favorite. Spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, onions, but be careful because they add up very quick. Cucumbers, cauliflower, like I said before, beets, fennel, okra. Yes, I love okra. Bell peppers, sprouts, eggplants, kale, scallions, turnips, tomatoes, jicama, portobello mushrooms. Careful on the portobello mushrooms because, I mean, they're pretty big, so don't always consider that just one little thing. Yellow squash, which is amazing. Shallots. Brussels sprouts, also a very low amount that you get. Cherry tomatoes, pumpkin mashed. These get a couple more higher, are going to be cooked tomatoes, snow peas, garlic, and spaghetti squash. And there's always more. Side note, side tip, that when you cook certain vegetables versus eating them raw, there are sugars released and the carbohydrate content will change. Sometimes dramatically. So please remember that. Things that you could put on salad would be like sauteed mushrooms, sour cream, grated cheese, hard-boiled egg, bacon. Obviously, calories matter, guys. Atkins induction or Atkins is not a free-for-all, and you're not able to just eat whatever. I know a lot of people think I can eat as many cheeses and meats as I want as long as I don't go, or as long as I don't eat any carbs. Unfortunately, that's a common misconception and is not true. That was something that people understood back in the day, and maybe you did it 20, 30 years ago when Atkins came out, and that's just not the case. It's much more inventive, okay? It's much funner than that, actually. Spices. First of all, be careful, okay? Be careful. Read all your spice racks. Read everything in there because you could do things like parsley, black pepper, garlic salt. Regular salt is a good thing. Actually, regular salt is a really good thing because you're probably going to be drinking enough water to be able to deplete your system of all your electrolytes. So it's really important that you're getting sodium, magnesium, and potassium to be able to refuel all of your electrolytes. You can do cilantro, tarragon, parsley, chives, ginger, rosemary. But remember, something, for instance, like 1 teaspoon, which is like a very tiny little minute amount, almost has 1 carb of pepper. So please keep an eye on your serving sizes. Salad dressings. Now, this is all over the place. You could do stuff like sugar-free barbecue sauce. You could do, obviously, your carbs are going to matter. Be careful, again, if you're doing like a sugar-free barbecue sauce, you don't want to be doing an energy drink or a Diet Coke or something like that, because those things taste sweet and good because there are artificial flavors in those, and those will kick you right the hell out of ketosis. So please be very, very specific about understanding that this is a very tailored thing to making sure that you're not eating carbs and sugar or artificial sweeteners. Don't try to dive too much into trying to figure out how much you can get away with, especially if you're new to this, because if you're watching this video, technically you're probably not really proficient yet, or maybe you're just looking for stuff to get outside of your realm. That's okay. But you can do blue cheese, lemon juice, ranch, balsamic vinaigrette. I do regular ranch pretty much 90% of the time. I have a sherry vinaigrette in there that I do. Now, in induction, be careful, because if your dressing has 5 carbs or something like that, that's virtually an entire meal. So probably want to stay away from that type of thing. You can definitely do, oh my gosh, what's the freaking name? The sugar-free dressings. Oh my gosh, I have to Google it. How am I really not remembering this right now? Clearly I'm not. Oh my gosh, everybody talks mess about it. It is Walden Farms. Never mind, I got it. Walden Farms. You could do Walden Farms, pretty much any one of Walden Farms products. I've had mixed different types of scenarios with Walden Farms. I've had good experiences, bad experiences. I do not like their coffee creamers. They taste like throw up. But their ranch, perfectly fine. There's not going to be any carbs, and there's not going to be any fat, and there's not going to be any calories, I don't think. Like, it's basically, some of them taste like chemicals, some of them taste absolutely amazing. But you have to remember, when you're going for a dressing, you're kind of going for a dressing for the idea of the healthy fats. So if you're neglecting those for quantity, make sure you don't do so, because that can be an issue. Some honorable mentions of things that I recommend is, if you think that this is like a death sentence as far as being able to eat different things, it's not. I would say with the Atkins products, use them to a minimum as far as like sugar alcohols and stuff like that. The Atkins sweets and stuff like that. If you're new to this, be careful about incorporating them too often, because that can really throw you off track. And if you eat one, sometimes you eat a whole box, and that's 2,000-3,000 calories, and you're definitely going to be in a surplus, and that's not going to work. You can do things like pork rinds. You can do things like Parmesan crisps, moon cheese. There's some chocolates out there on the internet that are acceptable. There's zero carb breads. There's zero carb bagels. There's zero carb or low carb, all of this, and there's low carb pizza. I just found I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below. I just made an entire pizza, like a 14-inch pizza. That sounds really good right now. Dang it, I shouldn't have talked about that. But they have a new cauliflower crust, and I think it's called cauliflower. But I'll link the description, or in the description below. And the whole pizza was 9 net carbs with pizza sauce, everything. And I believe the calories were 570. So it wasn't horrible. It was basically in place of a meal. I'm not going to say it's as filling as like a giant pizza, but it gives you that sense of, hey, normalcy or being normal or whatever, and being able to eat stuff. So if like it's like pizza night or something like that, you can eat the entire freaking pizza and not have to worry about jumping out of ketosis. Obviously, if you're in induction phase, this will be a pretty substantial amount of your entire day's food. But if you're in like Atkins 40 or something like that, it could be a little bit better for you. So don't think for a second that just because you're low carb or Atkins induction or starting out keto or whatever, that you don't have options, because you do. You can be literally as creative or as basic as you want. I'm very basic when it comes to my food 95% of the time. And the reason is because I don't want to work so hard on making sure I'm like achieving my weight loss and and then find out that, you know, I'm not achieving it because of some random spices or whatever. So I'm very, very, very specific. By the way, at the end of this video, or here or somewhere, I'm going to put you my results over the course of the last 45 days on Atkins induction. The picture, I believe, is 37 pounds down. I'm also training currently for a half marathon with my client, one of my local clients. We're going on a run. We're doing the rock and roll half marathon run in Vegas. We have 5 weeks till that goes, 39 days to be exact. So wish me luck on that. Again, like I said before, please check us out on Facebook. Our group is called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. If you're new here, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We have t-shirts, 35 bucks. We have Be Stronger Than, that means be stronger than your excuses, by the way. That's the tattoo. That's the bracelets. Bracelets are 7 bucks. And anything else I need to cover, online personal training with nutrition guidance, both is only $199 per month, which is freaking unheard of in the industry. Have a beautiful day, guys. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. Drink your damn water. Stay on track. And I really, really, really wish you all the best on your journey. Peace.